Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Get Your Life Show. I am Charmaine Johnson Fuller, life strategist with The Charmed Life. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy life to come hang with me and a friend. So the Get Your Life Show is all about helping entrepreneurial moms squash the overwhelm they feel with all of the moving pieces of their life. Each episode shares actionable steps to improve one major life area that's going to help you to create the life balance that you crave. Today, I have the fabulous Cordelia Gaffar. Her, just when you hear her speak, it's going to be the mood that you want to keep going forever and ever and ever. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is creating that space to have the life that you want and to do it in a way that is conscious and that feels good and that also gets things done. So, Cordelia, tell us about yourself and take it away.
Oh, thank you for having me, Charmaine. Well, you're right. I'm the emotions opener transformation strategist, and I'm all about helping you to dive into your deepest and most difficult emotions to show up powerfully. Quite often we think that our emotions are our Achilles heel, but it's not. It's like, especially as women, that's the thing that brings balance and harmony in the world, is feeling and being human. So that's what I'm here to share.
And that's what I talk to my audience about a lot, is that feeling piece, and that it's just not about bonbons and Netflix and chill, that it's really about digging in and hitting those emotions and being clear about how you want to feel and what you want your life to feel like, because that's really everything we do is based on how we want to feel, whether or not we want to admit it. Oh, I want this, but why? Because clients always get, when you go the why questions, they're like, well, I don't know. Well, I just want this. And, helping the feelings help to really bring that clarity, right? That clarity.
Absolutely.
For next steps. Yes.
Yeah.
So on that strain, go a little bit into how women can begin to tap into that, because a lot of the times women know how they don't want to feel, and even trying to think about how you want to feel sometimes seems overwhelming. It seems impossible. So they kind of go just from day to day, riding on the coattail of the feeling that they didn't want in the first place.
Right. Or of the previous day, right? So,
Right.
I mean, it's pretty simple. We attach ourselves to a lot of things, and usually what we're attaching to is what's expected and accepted of us. So we know that we have to look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way with our kids, or otherwise we have to apologize because we haven't met the standards of who exactly, so I say, let's just pause for a minute and step back, and what matters in the moment. Like if it's something surrounding your child, right? You know your child, and nobody else knows your child the way you do. So what matters in the moment is what supports your child emotionally the best. And whether or not that is that suits somebody else's projection or expectation, only thing that matters in life is that relationship that you're building with that child. So making an agreement to do what is in the best interest for the child with the child is all that matters. And does that make sense?
Yeah. And how that all does really connect to, even with yourself, because in order to know how to connect with the child and know how to go in intention with that, again, you have to be really clear about what you yourself wants. And like you said, that's hard when there are these expectations that you're carrying from other people that don't even belong to you.
Yeah, like those are not your people. So like to start every day just by choosing. Let me give you an example, right? So I woke up this morning, right? I was really tired. And I had a choice because I had some things to do today, right? So I had a choice to be like, woe is me, I'm so tired, I got more stuff to do, or just like, just pause for the cause and be like, ooh, I'm awake and my house is quiet. I'm going to enjoy this for a minute. And I'm going to take this moment of enjoyment and turn it into joy. And I'm going to hold that. And that's going to be my vibration today.
And so you covered two very important things. The one is waking up and finding the gratitude in whatever is going on around you and using that to propel you to create a different type of intention for your day. And then the other thing that you touched on was, versus getting up and letting your feet hit the ground to go start doing everything that's on your list, is to take a moment and breathe in the morning. Whether or not you're doing a full meditative prayer practice in the morning, whether or not you're working out, whatever it is, take a moment to breathe. Like, it doesn't always have to be this big 2-hour grandiose type of self-care morning. Sometimes it could just be, I'm up, laying in bed, saying, I'm so grateful for this moment, and just being in that moment. Like,
Yes.
it's so beyond mom sometimes to be present, because we're always future casting what everybody else needs, not necessarily what we need. Because if we focused on what we needed, sometimes we would lay in bed and just be. But we future cast on what could happen, and it's going to take too long to do it, and then we go do stuff and we don't feel connected in any way, and we feel exhausted and we feel burnt out and resentful and wonder, well, why? Well, that could have been alleviated by sitting in the bed for 5 minutes and chilling out.
Yeah, it's really that simple. Like, it's almost too simple, right? It's like, that's the piece that you skip.
Right.
You know, kind of like slipping down the stairs, like, how did I miss that step? Yep. That's
Exactly.
how. And as you were saying that, you know, you also made me think about the fact that when we, you know, oh, this is what I wanted to bring first. So let me say this. Each day has a theme, and it's not, you know, like, I know, like in Facebook groups, it's super cute to have themes for each day, but I live like that, right? Because I've got 6 kids, and like, who's got time for all the drama? So for me, on Saturday, my intention is, it's self-nurturing Saturday. So when I wake up, whatever I need, in a perfect world, if I were my own mom, that's my intention. Like, okay, Cordelia, what do you need today? Well, I need to pause for the cause of me. I need to like do a deep conditioning in my hair, or I need to go walk in my backyard with no shoes on, you know, or I need to tiptoe through the house before anybody shows up and cook what I want to eat and hope they don't smell it, because it's going to be good, you know? And that is what helps me to stay present throughout my day, like every single day, just having a theme. And that when it gets wonky, right? Like when everybody wakes up and they need me,
That's right.
or it's just like, okay, we got to leave in 5 minutes and somebody's still putting on their mascara, you know, like, I'm like, okay, center yourself. What was the joy this morning? What's today's theme?
Now that's interesting, because when you're in Facebook groups, like, that's like a perfect thing to like take out your planner and kind of go, this day is about this day is about that, and to really connect to yourself, because it's so easy as a mom to lose yourself, because you're a mom, and the very nature, I think, of being a mom currently, you know, is give, 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 give. And when everybody else has gotten, then you try to give something to yourself. And by that time, you're just like spit tired. And to take each day as a rolling self-care, and not just, I'm going to hold it for Saturday, but actually going, how can I take care of myself today? Like, that's what it makes me think about, is what is my self-care theme for the day? Like, what does that look like? Does that mean that I'm not going to turn on my device? Is this like, no device Monday, or, does it mean that I'm going to count my water Wednesday? Now I'm thinking of themes like, dang, like what are some things that I really need to work on that I can theme out? And it makes it kind of fun.
Yes,
Because
it's a
you're
game.
like, huh. And, just getting yourself like, that's pretty dope.
And the best part, Charmaine, is that what we miss as mothers is we are leaders, right?
Yeah.
And so many times women are just like, oh, I'm just a mom, right? But I notice like when I shift the language, right? So for the first couple of years when we met, I was always like, I help moms, right? And there were a certain type of woman that would show up,
Yeah.
to the party. And then when I shifted to leaders, not that they weren't moms, but they would show me a different side of themselves.
That's what I noticed as well, is when you use the language mom this or mompreneur, it tends to be kid-centered still, and not centered on the woman that needs to take care of herself so that she can be the woman that is CEO, running her business, that's running her household as a chef, a driver, tutor, all of these different pieces that it seems like those spaces don't really touch on that. When women hear the word mom first, it seems like we shift into, okay, what about the kids? Like, how can I be more present for my kids? And how can you be more present for yourself?
For yourself.
Because then when you're more present for yourself, guess what? You're more present for your kids. It seems so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So counterintuitive to say that if I take care of myself, then in taking care of myself, I'll be much better equipped to care for my children the way that I want to see them cared for. And that's where a lot of the mom guilt comes in from too, is you feel like you're not doing enough as a mom, but you're really not doing enough as a mom to yourself. And that's really missed,
So here's the thing, right? You're using a very key word here also, doing. See,
Yeah.
I just did a TED Ed lesson the other day on transformation by being versus doing, right? So instead of having to do all the time, if you just take a moment to be, to exist, to recognize and acknowledge your existence, to recognize and acknowledge your expertise, your gift, whatever it is that you be, right?
Right.
Then it's like you radiate all the things that you want to attract, as opposed to doing. And kind of, if you can imagine yourself when you're doing, you're like the outside of the eye of the storm, and you're the stuff that's breaking all the things in a tornado. But when you're being, you are the eye of the storm, and you're just still.
Wow. That was deep.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, in the current climate of humanhood, motherhood, the focus still is on do. Even though there's people
Nothing to do.
Right. Even though people are trying to shift to, you need to be more present, still it seems like the underbelly of it is, how much more can you do? How much more productive can you be? Be more, accelerate, go faster, do this, do that. And so I think that's why a lot of women feel confused and not focused all the time, is because in their moments of stillness, they feel like they should be doing something, and that they're confused. And it's not that they're confused. It's what I call slow down and breathe distractions, which are distractions where when you're tired and your body has expelled out all the energy that it can expel, and there's really nothing else left for you to do, that what happens is you think you're distracted by wanting to take a nap, but it's not really a bad distraction. It's your body going, hey, sit down. Hey, take a break, take a beat, breathe. A lot of times, I don't know if with your clients, they talk about getting stress headaches and all these other types of things. And it's like, that is your body's indicator that something is off, and for you to stop to see what the cause is and not to push through until you're done with this next task, and then you'll deal with the headache later. Well, now at this point it's a migraine and you're seeing double vision and you can't move.
Yeah.
Now versus you taking an hour off, now you have to take 3 days off because it's taking you 3 days to get off of this headache. Like, you know, those types of things, that language, that feeling of knowing that your body needs to rest, and that sometimes it might not be that you're confused or you don't know what to focus on. You might be tired.
Yeah.
You might need to take a day off. That was one of the things my coach challenged me with, was taking days off from the week. And that was hard.
Wow.
Because I like to keep going. But now it's like, I take those 2 days off. It's like my body expects it now. And I find I'm more creative.
Mm-hmm.
I find that I have more energy when I take 2 days to absolutely do nothing. You know, not 2 days to plug in some extra stuff that needed to be done, but just 2 days to be and do nothing but binge watch and have snacks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like when you get those openings in your calendar, it's funny. It's like, I feel like life works in my favor sometimes because I will overschedule myself, right? And when I do that, it never fails. Like I'll wake up and I'll be like, I know that today is going to be a full day, but whatever's meant to be will be. Yeah. And inevitably 2-3 appointments have to be rescheduled or fall off. And it creates more space, like you said, to be creative. And guess what I do? I do not fill up that space.
No.
I leave those appointments on my calendar because heaven forbid someone find my link and like schedule themselves. And I'm just like, not happening. And, you know, you also made me think of something else when you were talking about just being on those days off, right? So sometimes things happen, you know, and like you can't do stuff. Like, let's say your kid gets really sick and it was just like, oh man, you know, like I was gonna do all the things. And so what happens is, I had to do this recently. You know, I've been on a very aggressive podcasting schedule and they go out every week. Originally, like last year, it was every other week. So I found myself in a situation, I'm like, these are the last 3 episodes of the season and I can just crank it out. And then I had to have a pause and I said, okay, I'm just going to contact these people and say that their date has changed. And it changed drastically by like weeks, you know? And so everybody, for the most part, was very gracious. Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Except for one person. And this was a lesson to me. But anyway, so that person was disagreeable. And I just simply responded back very politely. And I'm going to share this language with you. Please write this down because everybody's going to have this person in their life. And I just want you to know, you're going to stand up for your emotional space. You're going to stand up for your mental space, and don't allow anyone to bully you into doing what they want. So I want to be very clear. So what I said was, my schedule, personal and professional, has extremely shifted for the remainder of the year. And my first mind was to not publish or edit my remaining episodes. This slight modification was the next best solution. I appreciate your patience. Now, if someone has to be obnoxious enough to respond back any kind of way towards that, then guess what happens? Well, you know, I'm not going to be able to accommodate your wishes at this time. And I don't think that we can collaborate on anything. That's the response. That is perfectly professional. And that's how you stand ground for your space emotionally and mentally. And don't ever let anybody bully you into not taking that time and space for yourself. Because I needed the time and space, you know, to, you know, make adjustments and rest my body and be present for my children. And I can't do that and do all the things. I don't care what people expect or accept, or in this case, I had set the expectations all year by changing my schedule from being every other week to every week. But it's my prerogative, because guess what? It's my podcast. And it's the same thing, even if you don't have a podcast. You run your show. You're the leader. You're the CEO of your family, of your business, of your life. And, you know, if you have that relative or, you know, whoever it is, you know, that client that wants to steamroll you, yeah, well, they just, you know, it's like, look, you don't need that in your life. You don't need that energy, and you don't need their money. You don't need any of it, because as soon as they're out of your energy and out of your space, it's going to open the doors to so much. And I'm going to tell you what, ever since I sent that message, I've had blessings every single day, because it opened up space.
Yeah. That was a whole word right there. And I have found when I was first learning how to use my voice, because ladies, that takes practice. That takes consistently using your voice.
You know, I want to just interrupt you. It does not take practice.
It doesn't?
Actually, no.
All the time. Yeah. What I do?
It takes you really recognizing what your values are, right? So like we have the values, right, of our families, of our culture, or our community. But then those are just the go along values. But if you dig deeper, right, in your moments that you're going to pause now every morning, you're going to find out that you have Charmaine values. And then you're going to have this like little like twitch when someone's like banging up against it, and you're just like, okay, this feels really weird and awkward. I can't like say yes to this. Listen to that. Pay attention to that.
And that's the gag. The gag is that many of us don't take the time to pause, that when our intuitive voice comes up, that we ignore it, because we haven't learned how to trust it, because we don't trust ourselves. So then we keep going with the flow and wondering why stuff is still so messed up.
Yeah. Okay. I see your point.
Yeah.
So, and from that perspective, it does take practice, but I'm going to tell you what, because I would have to say,
right. Once you hit that bottom enough, then, and that's kind of like, it was a combination. Like once you hit that bottom of enough of being thrown out of alignment, and once you are aware of what being thrown out of alignment feels like, and you hit that bottom and somebody comes at you with some stuff that's going to throw you out of alignment, you're like, yeah, no.
Well, see, in the beginning, Charmaine, this is the emotional piece, right? So what it feels like to be out of alignment before you're aware is that's when you get angry and you want to do that, you know, that ghetto, you know, person. You want, let me tell, you know, like that is the trigger. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm getting angry right now. Therefore, someone just banged up against my value system. So I'm going to have to find a way to use the right words to get to honor, right, myself, right? So in the early stages, before you understand yourself better, you know, before you're self-aware, you're going to be angry, you're going to be frustrated, you might cry, you might be sad, and or you might just have that twitch, like because like I was just like, sometimes like I had this person in my life and I would just like, ugh, like you just like, I don't know how to say, it's just like that, like weird. Yeah. And I'm like, what is it? Like this person makes my right side go numb, you know? And so that is, that's what that is.
This conversation is also letting women know that it is a journey, that you're not going to reach this point of nirvana and never have another issue with another human ever again.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
It's also letting you know that it has to be a conscious journey. Again, like you said, when you are aware of all of this and how this looks like out of alignment for you, you can now start making conscious choices to show up differently. And the more you show up differently, the less comfortable it, you know, the more you start to, like when I do stuff like, well, okay, fine. Okay, you know, and they're like, you're not getting mad, because I used to be the girl that would pop off all the time. And so then when I started doing my work, and I would go, it really doesn't bother me. I just know that it's not a part of what I am into, and that's fine. Go ahead. That's your business. Bye. And people were like, for the first couple of months, they were like, okay, she really finna snap because she's calm. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not, like, I don't even want to give any more energy to it. Like, you get to a point where I don't even want to give any more energy to it. Like, you know what? It's your business. See you later. I'm going to move over this way. But just know that this is the line in the sand, and you can, fall in line, or you can go your way. It's totally up to you, but this is my boundary. And, making that clear. But in order to, again, have that, you have to be getting in touch and with that intention with yourself. Like, all of this stuff will not stand if you are not taking inventory of you. Like, everything Cordelia has shared about how you can begin to build that baseline for yourself and begin to look at things that, things and people that are not in alignment, AKA annoying you, when honestly nobody can annoy you. That's kind of you allowing them in your space. Like, when something's annoying you, that means that you are allowing it into your inner space, and it is disturbing your spirit, which isn't them, it's you, because you keep letting them in. You keep letting them in.
That's a choice.
It's that choice. And you gotta set that up. You have to, in order for it to stick. Otherwise, you're going to keep going around the mountain like the children of Israel, and it's going to be 40 years, and you are going to be exhausted, resentful. Life is not going to be happy. These are things that you have to take time out and handle in the present moment by being present. Present, meaning not thinking about tomorrow, 5 minutes from now, next week, but what's going on now. And that part does, for those of us that are, because I'm a living chess player. So a lot of the things that I do are future casting in my head. So learning how to be present was work for me, because, and part of me future casting was also because of my childhood, where you never quite knew what was going to happen, who was going to be where. So when I became an adult, the more organized stuff I had, it made me feel safe, when in actuality, it really wasn't making me feel safe. It was perpetuating the stuff anxiety. I was already feeling, all the anxiety I was already feeling. Isn't that weird though? Because it feels counterintuitive to be present, when in actuality, it takes the anxiety down.
So the presence is the safety, right?
Yeah.
Because the being firm, what is that called? Being complete in your moment, in your current moment, and in yourself. That is the that's the safety, right? Trusting the quiet voice, the intuitive voice. You also made me think about what my mom used to say, like regarding anger, right? So I asked my mom, because people were a little bit outrageous sometimes, and she would just smile and kind of like the way I responded to that email, and talk like that. And I'd be like, Mom, how do you do that? Because I know you're angry. I saw your vein, she had this vein. It was like, right. And she was like, you know what? Anger is a choice. You can choose whether or not you want to be somebody's puppet, or if you want them to be your puppet. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, whenever I feel myself getting angry, I'm just like, what's happening right now? What is it that I need to choose differently? What is it that I allowed this person to do? And, so if you have a problem with setting boundaries, think of it that way. When you don't set boundaries, you just became someone else's puppet. So if that's a problem for you, well, then you can start doing some work.
Oh my gosh, this was so juicy. And like, don't take the length of this to mean that, like, I'm so happy I get to go back over this and listen, because I'm going to take some notes. Like, this is a continuous work. Like, it's never going to end. Life is not about it's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at and you're being grateful and you're noticing your progress. You know, I talk to you ladies a lot about keeping a victory journal because, again, as women, it's really easy to see all the stuff that we haven't done yet and all the undone stuff and not celebrate the juicy, lovely, fabulous stuff that we've done all day. Even if it's as simple as you made dinner, you gave your kids a shower, you took a shower. Like some days that is a victory for me, is to jump in the shower. You know, you made a meal for your family, you ate with your family. Like those types of things are victories. And so often we look at them as it's just something else to do. And when
or
you're
expected.
exactly, or that's expected and not as, oh my God, that was actually a great thing, because technically I don't have to cook dinner for my family. I could let them starve, and I can go get a burger. But I chose, and you know, when you start to make those types of things conscious choices, you begin to feel more empowered. And again, that's connecting back in, and you begin to feel more empowered. And when you feel more empowered, you make different decisions than when you feel like you gotta and it's expected and that's just what you're supposed to do. You move differently, you feel differently, your day feels better. Oh, this was delicious. This was so delicious. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. I love your takeaways and the way you like summarize it perfectly for your ladies. So it was really a joy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So, how can they connect with you?
Oh, right. There's that. So, you know, I'm everywhere on social media, but my hangout spots are LinkedIn and Instagram. And I also have a website that's my name. So all my social media is just Cordelia Gaffar. My website is cordeliagaffar.com and Gaffar, because you will not find me with the ER, although I should get that directed. Anyway, so it's AR. Yeah.
Okay. And follow her. Go to her Instagram page. Like, it's always juicy stuff. The podcast is fabulous. What is the podcast?
Podcast is called The Free to Be Show.
And it's on iTunes, or where is it at?
Yeah, so it's
I think it's Stitcher.
it should be on iTunes and Blog Talk Radio, but I also have a video version of it on my YouTube channel. So,
and that's how I catch it. But I knew you were other places.
yeah, many other places.
And it's nuggety and it's fabulous. Like, you know, these are things that may seem small, but like when I talk to you all about knowing how you want to feel and creating ways to achieve those feelings, sometimes even in some of the things that need to be done as a mom, as an entrepreneur, there's a way to create that and to carry that with you. And like she said, it's about being present. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing. And the only way to know is to be. And if that sounds confusing, go see her. Go hang out with her on Instagram. Go check her out on LinkedIn. Check out the podcast. Because I know in the beginning, the being thing was a challenge for me. Because it's like, what do you mean be? I ain't that yet. So what be?
Yeah.
So if you have a challenge with that being, connect with Cordelia. Once you get it, it's going to change your life. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the Get Your Life show. This will definitely help you get all of your life. Like, for real, for real, for real.
Yeah, and actually, you know, it's whether you go to Instagram or directly to my website, there's a little gift there for you, and it's about how to replenish and boost yourself, and it's like a little ebook. So
I'll also have the link to that below. So that's something that you will want to grab. A lot of the times we think of replenish as taking a nap and, you know, going to get a pedicure, when in actuality, replenish is a daily process and it's taking care of yourself constantly and consistently. That's what replenishing is. And so I highly recommend you download that ebook. It's going to make you look at things in a different way. And sometimes all you need is a different perspective, because you've been looking at yours and you've been looking from your point of view, and that's stressing you out. So maybe you just need to see a different perspective. So I hope this is giving you all a different perspective on how to approach, how you want to feel, how to be intentional, how to keep that focus. Like, we gave you some really unconventional stuff, not the stuff that you're used to hearing about staying focused and being productive. We told you to take care of yourself every day and take some space and be present. We didn't tell you to get a new planner. So I know this might blow some minds, but it works. Trust us. It works. If we know nothing else, I definitely know it works because I use it in my life. And look at how calm this sister is here. And I mean, on a consistent basis. I think I've only maybe seen you, kind of once, but like it's like you roll it off. And it's not that she rolls it off from a space of not dealing with things. So don't get that twisted, but just from a space of being present and sure in who she is and what outcome she wants to see in her life, no matter where she's at. Like, that is a gift. So again, I want to thank you, Cordelia, for joining us on the Get Your Life show today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Make sure you connect with Cordelia. All of her goodies are below, and how you can connect with her and where you can find her at online. Any questions, comments, ahas, what you talking about, Willis, whatever it is, put them in the comments below. She'll be watching and I'll be watching. So that way, if I miss something, she might see it. And if she misses something, I can definitely tag her in so that you can ask that question and get that answered. And I will see you all next week on the Get Your Life show. Thanks so much again. Remember, love yourself, love your family, and love your business in that order. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you for hanging out with the Get Your Life show. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications so that you can know when the next episode drops. Did this episode inspire you to create change? Then share it with friends and download the show guide to support you. Look, I know you're ready to create more time, energy, and focus in your life, and I'm ready to help you get the life balance you want. So go to thecharmedlife.live/squad to join my Get Your Life squad. There, you'll get the resources and support to stop feeling like you're always behind and start feeling like you're always on time. So until next week, love yourself, love your family, love your business. Bye.